You want to hear a holiday story, kids? Well, once upon a time, there was a client who wasn't very nice to me because they're my only client that has yet to pay me what they owe me. They did pay me for a few months and then things kind of got out of control. So there's a few lessons here. I definitely saw the signs on the wall. I saw a lot of signs, but I think that I was a little bit taken aback by the shiny chandelier that hung in the center of the office. It was quite beautiful. There was more than one. It was a pretty lavish place, actually, and it was brand new. And I thought, well, my goodness, they must have gotten some great investors behind this practice because there's a boatload of money going in there. But it turns out that they just filed Chapter 11 after realizing that their office manager embezzled $150,000. This just happened today. I just got the phone call. So a fellow vendor, one of many warnings that I had gotten to maybe not work with this client. I wasn't listening though. It's not gonna happen to me. It wouldn't happen to me. I always do the right thing by my clients. I work more than I'm supposed to. I'll go above and beyond. They wouldn't do that to me. Ah, ugh. Sometimes you got to learn that lesson a few times. But I've only had to learn that lesson one time in this business because that's really all you need, right? So now, what was interesting about this client in particular was they really had something amazing. Well, this is pretty typical, right? So much potential, and then they stopped paying their staff, and it really got uncomfortable and really awkward. So what I did was I decided to tell them to not pay me anymore, but to pay the staff, and that they could take care of me when they could. And that was like a year and a half ago. So I never did get paid for that, but I let it go. And I thought, lesson learned. And I felt good about moving on from this client because I didn't really like what was happening inside. And there were a lot of lies and a lot of toxic stuff going on. So, this friend in business gave me a call today, and the story he told me. It's not funny. I was going to say it's funny, but it's not funny. I wondered why this one office manager stayed, because the doctors weren't getting paid and the staff wasn't getting paid, and they were being promised. And because they were these people that you really were rooting for, you wanted to make it work, the staff stuck around. I stuck around for a little while, and then it just kind of blew up. Ugh. And lots of those people left. And some of those people today I have placed in other practices, which I'm very happy about. Then they're happy. I think, well, they're getting paid, so they have to be a little bit happier, right? And it's very common to have office managers, administrators embezzling money in the medical industry. I mean, you've read that story a few times in the paper, right? And I've never understood how that can happen, because there needs to be checks and balances, right? There's just no room for you not to be like a signer on a check. And we used to have 3 signers on our check. So it was me and 2 doctors. And yeah, I had a finance manager, and we met, every 2 weeks and went over accounts payable, receivable, and we looked at the books, and we had a legitimate accountant, and there was nothing that was a secret. It was nothing that one person was handling, because when you're dealing with a medical company, there's a lot of insurance payments that come in. There's a lot of vendors to pay, and it can happen. I've seen it happen, and I just heard about it happen again. And not to say that I'm happy that it happened, but I certainly wasn't surprised. And I'm not a big fan of that word karma because I don't I just don't buy into that, right? I just feel like, you should do the right thing. You should do the right thing by your clients. You should do the right thing by your employees. You should do the right thing by consultants. You should do the right thing. And if you do that, the right thing will happen. But if you don't do that, it's going to come back and bite you. And it might not be today, but it will be in time. So I've watched it enough times to realize that if you have an office manager that is the only one that's kind of looking at the books and, you know, things might not be making sense and you have this gut intuition, you should probably look into it, you know? But I remember saying to her one day, and I know she has a child and like she's going to go to jail. It's not a pretty situation. But I remember saying to her one day, I don't understand why you stay. Like, it doesn't seem like you're being treated very well. And, then I was like, well, she must be holding something over the CEO of the company. My goodness, who would stay in that insanity? And she used to ask me for advice. And, I was pretty clear with her about what I thought she should do. But she stayed. And I guess I never think that people are capable of doing those things, but they are. They are. And it's very sad, especially when somebody else is working so hard to make that money, whether they're paying their staff or not. They're still working hard and nobody deserves to have money stolen. So yeah, so for the last year, she was just taking, 10 grand off the top. Who was going to notice? Nobody was checking. And there it goes to my point about recruiting and doing background checks, right? God only knows. Well, I'm quite sure she didn't have a background check because they found out that she had done this somewhere else. You have to check your people. No matter how nice they seem or they're related to you or your sister, you just can't be too sure, right? Well, maybe it's your sister. But I really think that a lot of lessons can be learned from that. And, nothing like hearing $150,000 was stolen from you right before Christmas. It's a great holiday story. So watch your dollars, people, okay? If you don't trust something that's happening within your practice, you have every right to say something. So go get it checked out. Shame on you if you don't. Anyway, I hope you have a great night. I'm totally cash today. Obviously, you noticed I did admin work from my office today and took a bike ride and did some great photo shots with my Barry Lively photographer biking because I wrote an article for DuPont Registry and we're going to feature hopefully these pictures in the article. So it's pretty exciting. I love my bike. Just saying. If you haven't seen it on social media, you should check it out. Actually, it's not that exciting. I do have pink pedals though. Ciao. Have a great night. Ho, ho, ho.